Hello, everyone. I'd like to talk with you today, not just as a doctor, but as someone who has spent years in the clinic, listening to your stories, your worries, and your hopes. Over time, you learn things that aren't printed in medical textbooks. You learn them by observing, by connecting the dots, and by seeing real lives change in front of your eyes. Today, I want to share one of those secrets with you. It's a confidence, something I've come to believe is so important that I feel a responsibility to pass it along. It's about taking back a piece of control over your health in a way that is surprisingly simple, yet profoundly effective. It's a story about a small discovery that can make a very big difference. Have you ever sat in a doctor's office, holding a piece of paper with your lab results, and felt a knot form in your stomach? Your eyes scanned the page, looking for that one word, cholesterol. The numbers seem to stare back at you, holding a kind of power over your future. It's a moment so many of us have experienced. A quiet fear creeps in. The fear of what those numbers might mean for your heart, for your longevity, for your ability to be there for the people you love. This anxiety is real, it's valid, and it's one of the most common concerns that brings people through my door. It's a heavy weight to carry around every single day. That feeling of helplessness can be overwhelming. Suddenly your life feels dictated by figures on a chart. We start conversations about medications with long lists of side effects, about strict diets that feel like a punishment, and about giving up the foods and comforts you've enjoyed for years. These discussions are, of course, incredibly important components of managing health, but they often leave you feeling trapped, as if the only path forward is one of sacrifice and restriction. It's easy to feel like you're fighting a losing battle, constantly on the defensive against your own body. This sense of being cornered by medical advice is something I see time and time again, and it's a difficult place to be. But what if I told you that one of the most powerful allies for your heart might not be in the pharmacy, but in your pantry? What if there was something simple, natural, and accessible that could offer a significant layer of protection for your cardiovascular system? Imagine, for a moment, that you could add something to your daily routine, not take something away, that could actively work to support your heart's health. It sounds almost too good to be true, I know. In a world of complex medical solutions, we often overlook the elegant power that nature has already provided. This isn't about magic. It's about understanding the incredible science hidden within our food. The secret I want to share with you is hidden inside a small, unassuming, yet remarkable food. The Brazil nut. I can almost see you raising your eyebrows from here. A nut? Really, doctor? After all this talk about cholesterol and heart disease, your big secret is a nut? Yes, it truly is. And I ask you to stay with me for a moment, to set aside any skepticism, and let me explain why this particular nut is so much more than just a simple snack. It's a tiny powerhouse of a specific nutrient that has a direct and scientifically backed impact on the very mechanisms that can lead to heart problems. It's a piece of the puzzle that has been overlooked for far too long. The superpower of the Brazil nut comes down to one key element: its extraordinary concentration of selenium. Now, selenium might just sound like another complicated word from a chemistry class, but it's a vital trace mineral and one of the most potent antioxidants your body can get. Think of an antioxidant as your own personal security guard at a cellular level. Every day, your cells are under attack from something called oxidative stress. You can imagine it as a form of biological rust. This process damages cells, contributes to aging, and fuels chronic diseases. Selenium is one of the master guards that stands at the gate, protecting your cells from this relentless damage and keeping your internal systems running smoothly. When it comes to your heart, this is where the magic truly happens. One of the greatest dangers of so-called bad cholesterol, or LDL, isn't just its quantity, but its oxidation. When LDL cholesterol oxidizes, when it rusts, it transforms. It becomes sticky, inflammatory, and aggressive. This oxidized LDL is the primary culprit that clings to the walls of our arteries, forming the dangerous plaques that cause atherosclerosis. These are the blockages that narrow our arteries, restrict blood flow, and can ultimately lead to a devastating heart attack or stroke. So the real enemy isn't just the cholesterol number itself, but what happens to that cholesterol once it's in your system. This is where our little Brazil nut, packed with its selenium security guard, comes into play. The selenium acts as a powerful shield for your arteries. Its primary job in this context is to prevent that dangerous rusting process. It neutralizes the oxidative stress that turns LDL cholesterol into a vessel-clogging menace. By doing so, it helps keep your cholesterol less harmful and less likely to stick to your artery walls and create those perilous plaques. Studies have shown that regular, moderate consumption of Brazil nuts can have a dramatic and rapid impact on markers of oxidative stress, significantly improving the balance between good and bad cholesterol and supporting overall vascular health. This isn't just a theory, it's something I've seen reflected in the lives of my patients. I think of a man who came to me utterly defeated. He was trying so hard, walking every day, avoiding red meat, taking his medication, but his cholesterol numbers were stubbornly high, and the fear of following in his father's footsteps, who had a heart attack at a young age, was hounding him. He felt like he was doing everything right, but his body was failing him. The frustration in his voice was palpable. He was on the verge of giving up, convinced that his genetic destiny was already written and that there was nothing more he could do to change it. His story is not unique, so many of you feel that same sense of discouragement. You try to follow the rules, you read the articles, you listen to the advice, but you feel stuck. It's a silent struggle, a deep and personal worry about your own health that you carry with you. My goal today is to give you back a sense of agency, a feeling of empowerment. I want to show you that taking care of your heart doesn't have to be solely about complex regimens and difficult sacrifices. It can also be about incorporating simple, powerful, and natural habits into your life. It's about understanding that a small, consistent action can create a ripple effect of positive change within your body. Let's delve deeper into what's happening inside your body so you can truly understand the power you have to change it. This process I mentioned, atherosclerosis, is often called hardening of the arteries. Imagine your arteries as smooth, flexible pipes that carry life-giving blood to every part of your body. When that LDL cholesterol oxidizes, it becomes like a sticky, toxic sludge. This sludge starts to injure the delicate inner lining of your arteries. Your body, in its wisdom, rushes to heal this injury, sending white blood cells and other materials to the site. But in this case, the healing process goes haywire, creating a buildup of cholesterol, cells, and other debris that forms a plaque right inside the artery wall. This plaque is not just a simple blockage, it's an active inflammatory site. Over the years, it can grow slowly and silently, narrowing the channel through which your blood can flow. Think of it like a clog forming in a drain pipe. At first, water might still get through, but as the clog gets bigger, the flow becomes restricted. In your body, this means less oxygen-rich blood can reach your vital organs, especially your heart. This is why you might not feel anything for decades. The problem is building quietly, invisibly, layer by layer, setting the stage for a future crisis. The silent nature of this buildup is precisely what makes it so dangerous and so important for us to address proactively. Now, let's talk about the numbers because they paint a stark picture of why this conversation is so critical. Heart disease remains the leading cause of death for men and women across the globe. It's a staggering reality. In the United States alone, someone has a heart attack approximately every 40 seconds. Think about that. By the time you finish listening to this short segment, numerous families will have been changed forever by a cardiovascular event. This isn't a rare, distant disease. It's a deeply personal health crisis that touches nearly every family, every community. It's the reason we see so much focus on blood pressure and cholesterol in every doctor's office. These aren't abstract concerns. They are direct indicators of this widespread risk. And a huge part of that risk is driven by cholesterol. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, estimates that tens of millions of adults in the U.S. have high cholesterol levels that put them at significant risk. What's truly alarming is that many of them don't even know it. Because there are no obvious symptoms in the early stages, people can walk around for years, even decades, with this dangerous process unfolding inside their arteries, completely unaware. This is why routine checkups and blood tests are so vital. They give us a window into what's happening on the inside, allowing us to catch the problem long before it announces itself in the most devastating way possible. The statistics can feel impersonal, but I want you to bring them home. These aren't just numbers on a public health report. They represent our parents, our partners, our friends, and our neighbors. They represent real lives filled with joy, responsibility, and love. Lives that can be cut short or dramatically altered. The true risk of high cholesterol isn't a number on a lab report. It's the potential loss of a future you've planned. It's the risk of not being there for your child's graduation, not getting to meet your grandchildren, or not being able to enjoy your retirement with the person you love. It's about the loss of independence and the physical and emotional toll it takes on both you and your family. The most immediate and feared risk, of course, is a heart attack. This happens when a plaque inside one of your coronary arteries, the ones that feed your heart muscle, becomes unstable and ruptures. Your body sees this rupture as an injury and immediately forms a blood clot to heal it. But this clot can completely block the artery. When that happens, the part of the heart muscle supplied by that artery is starved of oxygen and begins to die. This is what causes the crushing chest pain and other symptoms of a heart attack. It is a true medical emergency where every single second counts, as the damage to the heart muscle can be permanent and life-altering. Another catastrophic risk is a stroke. The exact same process of plaque buildup can occur in the carotid arteries, which are the major vessels in your neck that supply blood to your brain. If a piece of that plaque breaks off or a clot forms and travels to the brain, it can block a smaller blood vessel there. Just like with the heart, brain cells that are cut off from their blood supply begin to die within minutes. The consequences of a stroke can be devastating, ranging from difficulty with speech and memory to paralysis and permanent disability. It can rob a person of their ability to communicate, to walk, and to live independently, profoundly changing their life and the lives of their caregivers. The risks don't stop there. When atherosclerosis affects the arteries in your legs, it's called peripheral artery disease, or PAD. This can cause severe pain when you walk, a condition known as claudication, because your leg muscles aren't getting enough oxygen to keep up with the demand. In severe cases, it can lead to non-healing wounds, infections, and even the need for amputation. Similarly, the arteries leading to your kidneys can become narrowed, which can lead to high blood pressure and, over time, chronic kidney disease or even kidney failure. Every part of your body depends on healthy, open arteries, so a problem that starts with cholesterol can have far-reaching and debilitating consequences. This is why understanding the symptoms is so crucial, though I must stress again that high cholesterol itself is silent. The symptoms only appear when the arteries have become so narrowed that blood flow is significantly restricted. For the heart, the classic warning sign is angina, a type of chest pain or discomfort that feels like pressure, squeezing, or fullness. It often happens during physical exertion or stress and goes away with rest. This is your heart muscle literally crying out for more oxygen. Other signs can include shortness of breath, unusual fatigue, or a feeling of dizziness. These are not signs to be ignored. They are your body's emergency signals. When a heart attack is actually happening, the symptoms can be more intense and prolonged. The classic symptom is that crushing chest pain, which can radiate to your left arm, your jaw, your neck, or your back. However, it's incredibly important to know that not everyone experiences this classic symptom, especially women. For women, the signs of a heart attack can be much more subtle and may include things like sudden and extreme fatigue, nausea or vomiting, shortness of breath, lightheadedness, or pain in the back or stomach. This is why so many women unfortunately dismiss their symptoms, thinking it's just indigestion or stress, when in reality, it's a life-threatening event requiring immediate medical attention. For a stroke, the warning signs are very different because they reflect a problem in the brain, not the heart. There's a simple and powerful acronym to help everyone remember them. FAST. The F stands for face drooping. Does one side of the face sag or feel numb? Ask the person to smile and see if it's uneven. A is for arm weakness. Is one arm weak or numb? Ask them to raise both arms and see if one drifts downward. S is for speech difficulty. Is their speech slurred, or are they unable to speak or hard to understand? And finally, T stands for time, to call 911. If you see any of these signs, don't wait. Time is brain, and immediate medical help is critical. So, if this is all happening silently, what are the underlying causes? What puts us on this dangerous path in the first place? Well, it's a combination of factors, but many of them are directly within our control. The most significant contributor for most people is diet. A diet high in saturated and trans fats, found in things like red meat, full-fat dairy products, fried foods, and many commercially baked goods, directly raises your levels of that harmful LDL cholesterol. These are the building blocks for the plaque. It's not just about what you eat, but also what you don't eat. A lack of fiber from fruits, vegetables, and whole grains means your body is missing a key tool for helping to escort cholesterol out of your system. Beyond diet, our modern lifestyle plays a huge role. A lack of physical activity is a major cause. We were designed to move, but many of us spend our days sitting at a desk, in a car, and on the couch. Exercise does wonders for your heart. It helps raise your levels of HDL, the good cholesterol, which acts like a garbage truck, collecting excess cholesterol from your arteries and taking it back to the liver to be disposed of. Regular activity also helps you maintain a healthy weight, lower your blood pressure, and make your heart a more efficient pump. When we are sedentary, we lose all of these protective benefits, allowing the conditions for heart disease to flourish. Another major culprit is smoking. I cannot overstate how destructive smoking is to your cardiovascular system. The chemicals in tobacco smoke directly damage the delicate lining of your arteries, making them rough and sticky. This creates the perfect surface for cholesterol to grab onto and start forming plaques. Smoking also lowers your good HDL cholesterol and makes your blood more likely to clot. If you are a smoker with high cholesterol, it's like pouring gasoline on a fire. Quitting smoking is single-handedly one of the most powerful things you can do to immediately reduce your risk of a heart attack and stroke, no matter how long you've been smoking. Then, there are factors that can feel a bit more out of our control, but are still important to manage. High blood pressure, for example, is a close partner in crime with high cholesterol. Think of it as a constant force pounding against your artery walls. Over time, this pressure damages and weakens them, accelerating the process of atherosclerosis. Similarly, conditions like diabetes are a major risk factor, as high blood sugar levels also contribute to arterial damage and an unhealthy cholesterol profile. Managing these conditions with your doctor is a non-negotiable part of protecting your heart for the long haul. It's all interconnected within your body's complex and beautiful system. Of course, genetics do play a part. Some people are simply genetically predisposed to producing more cholesterol than their body needs, or they have a harder time clearing it from their blood. If you have a close family member, a parent or sibling, who developed heart disease at an early age, your own risk is likely higher. This can feel incredibly frustrating, like you're fighting an uphill battle against your own DNA. But I want to reassure you, your genes are not your destiny. Even with a strong family history, the lifestyle choices you make every single day can have a profound impact, helping to override that genetic predisposition and rewrite your health story. As we age, our risk naturally increases as well. Over the decades, the cumulative effects of our diet and lifestyle choices start to add up. The body becomes a little less efficient at clearing cholesterol, and there has simply been more time for plaques to develop. This is why it's so important to establish healthy habits early in life, but it's also a reminder that it is never, ever too late to start making changes. Every positive step you take, at any age, helps to slow down or even begin to reverse the damage, giving you more healthy, vibrant years to look forward to. Your body has an amazing capacity to heal if you give it the right tools. Finally, I want to introduce you to the master villain that ties all of these causes together: chronic inflammation. Think of inflammation as your body's response to injury or threat. A little bit is good. It helps you heal a cut. But when your body is constantly under stress from a poor diet, smoking, lack of sleep, or chronic stress, it can get stuck in a state of low-grade, system-wide inflammation. This constant inflammatory fire is what makes the artery walls vulnerable, encourages the oxidation of LDL cholesterol, and makes plaques unstable and more likely to rupture. It's the smoldering ember that fuels the entire process of heart disease. Understanding this inflammatory connection is key, because it shifts our focus. It's not just about lowering a number, it's about cooling down the inflammation inside our bodies. This is where the power of certain foods and nutrients truly shines. When we can target that underlying inflammation, we can make a much more profound impact on our cardiovascular health than by simply trying to avoid certain foods. we can start to address the root cause of the problem, not just the symptoms. And this is exactly where the story of our humble Brazil nut and its incredible selenium content comes back into the picture as a powerful, natural anti-inflammatory agent. So now we arrive at the most important part of our conversation. What can we do about all of this? The solution begins with that simple, powerful secret I shared with you. It's about incorporating the Brazil nut into your daily life. But here is my most critical piece of medical advice on this topic. Moderation is everything. Because the selenium content is so incredibly high, you do not need a handful. In fact, that would be counterproductive. The perfect, effective, and safe dose is just 1 or 2 Brazil nuts per day. That's it, just 1 or 2. This isn't about adding another complex task to your day. It's about making one small, incredibly potent choice to provide your body with that master antioxidant it needs to protect your arteries. Of course, this remarkable nut is not a magic bullet that works in isolation. Think of it as the star player on a well-rounded team, or the perfect note in a beautiful symphony of healthy habits. This single action becomes exponentially more powerful when it's supported by other good choices. This means filling your plate with a rainbow of colors, the deep greens of spinach, the bright red of bell peppers, the rich purple of berries. These foods are packed with fiber and other antioxidants that work alongside the selenium, helping to lower inflammation, manage cholesterol, and nourish every cell in your body. It's about creating an internal environment where your heart can truly thrive, not just survive. And we must get our bodies moving. This doesn't mean you need to run a marathon or spend hours in a gym. It means finding joy in movement. A brisk 30-minute walk each day can do wonders. It strengthens your heart muscle, improves blood flow, helps manage your weight, and is a fantastic way to lower your blood pressure and relieve stress. When you move your body, you are sending a clear signal to your entire cardiovascular system that you are strong, you are vital, and you are alive. Combine that daily walk with the protective power of a Brazil nut, and you have created a simple yet profound daily ritual for the well-being of your heart. We also have to address the silent drivers of inflammation, chronic stress, and lack of sleep. You can have the perfect diet and exercise routine, but if you are constantly stressed and sleep-deprived, that inflammatory fire will continue to smolder inside you. This is why making time for rest and recovery is not a luxury. It is a medical necessity. Find what calms your nervous system. Maybe it's 5 minutes of quiet, deep breathing, listening to music, or turning off screens an hour before bed. Prioritizing 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep allows your body to repair itself, lower stress hormones, and cool down the inflammation that puts your arteries at risk. Imagine what your day could look like with these small changes. You wake up and enjoy a short walk in the morning sun. Later in the day, you have 1 or 2 Brazil nuts as a mindful snack, consciously acknowledging the good you are doing for your body. For dinner, you make sure half of your plate is filled with colorful vegetables. And in the evening, you take a few moments to unwind before getting a full night of restorative sleep. None of these actions are drastic or punishing. They are small acts of self-respect, woven together to create a powerful tapestry of health that protects you from the inside out, day after day. What I really want to leave you with today is a fundamental shift in perspective. For too long, we've talked about heart health in the language of fear. Fear of high numbers, fear of a heart attack, fear of losing the future. I want to encourage you to reframe this journey as an act of love. Taking care of your heart is not about avoiding a bad outcome. It's about actively choosing a better, more vibrant life. It's about loving yourself enough to make these small, consistent choices. It's about loving your family enough to want to be there for them, full of energy and health, for all the beautiful years to come. Remember that patient I told you about, the one who felt defeated and trapped by his genetics? This knowledge gave him back his power. It showed him that his destiny was not written in stone. You too have this power. Your health is not something that simply happens to you. It is something you can actively participate in and shape every single day. This simple secret about the Brazil nut is more than just a dietary tip. It's a key. It's a key that can unlock a new sense of agency and control over your own well-being, reminding you that your daily choices have a profound and direct impact on your internal world. Think of each small, healthy choice you make as a promise you are making to your future self. When you choose to take that walk, You are promising to be strong enough to play with your grandchildren. When you add those vegetables to your plate, you are promising to have the energy to travel and see the world. And when you eat that single Brazil nut, you are making a quiet, powerful promise to protect the very engine of your life so you can be present for every precious moment that is yet to come. These are not sacrifices. They are investments in a future filled with joy and vitality. So please, do not wait for a scary diagnosis or a wake-up call to begin. The time to start protecting your heart is right now, today. The process of atherosclerosis is slow and silent, but so is the process of healing and prevention. It begins with one small step, one simple choice. The hope I want to share with you is that taking control of your cardiovascular health does not have to be an overwhelming mountain to climb. It can start with something as simple and accessible as a single nut. The most profound changes in our lives often begin with the smallest, most manageable actions. Take this little secret I've shared with you today. Don't just let it be interesting information. Let it become a part of your life. Make it your own personal ally in your journey toward better health. Share it with the people you love. Start today by adding 1 or 2 Brazil nuts to your routine, and let that be the first step in a new story you are writing for your health. Your heart is the most loyal and hard-working friend you will ever have, beating for you, supporting you, every single second of every day. Give it the protection it deserves. Take care of yourself,